Alright, another desk setup video, but in a format and style I've never done before. And you may ask, another desk setup video? Yes, another desk setup video. You see, after all these years, I had never built a desk setup for Mr. Fluffball. Wait a sec, let me just go grab him. Mr. Fluffball. It is well overdue. Also, my partner and I moved to a new place last year, and we now have a proper living room with our actual desks in other rooms that are not necessarily close by. So whenever we use our laptops, we're always at the dining room table with dongles, chargers, and headphones all over the place. As a result, our dining table becomes messy, and we prefer to keep our living room area clutter-free. So I had to think of a solution with the help of Mr. Fluffball. A small desk that acts as a work surface, but also a charging station and storage for all our tech. And here is what we came up with. The first decision I had to make was the location of the desk. Ideally, it would have its own dedicated space, separate from the kitchen, dining area, and living room, but still in the same area. We had this little nook near the staircase that happened to be perfect for this use case. It's not super wide, but it is deep enough to accommodate for a desk and chair so that they're not in the way when not in use. Now, with a specific spot in mind, I decided to renovate this little corner. We have white oak flooring and guardrails, so I wanted to find something that matches and decided to go with these acoustic panels from the Wood Veneer Hub. They're the same as the ones I used in my YouTube studio, but these have gray felt instead of black, which I thought fit better given the existing concrete accent wall in this room, which is also light gray. It also happens to be Mr. Fluffball's favorite color combo. Installation was not a piece of cake, not because of the panels themselves, but because we have 10-foot ceilings and the panels have a length of 8 feet only. The whole thing required a lot of cutting to fill the entire corner. Apart from that, we were able to simply nail them in place instead of using glue, so it's not a permanent install, which is great. I also had to fill the gaps where the panels meet height-wise, and I'm not super happy with the result as it's quite visible. I will look into other solutions to make the two panels blend better. Finally, I added white oak edge banding on the sides to hide the foam and composite material of the wood slats. I think this really completes the look and is the last finishing touch that this accent corner needed. It also gives the illusion that the slats are thicker than they really are. I was also able to pull out the electrical box a bit, which allowed me to have the wall plate sit on the panel itself for an even cleaner look. So, like I said, this is a very narrow den. It is 42 inches wide with the guardrail. Finding a desk that fits there and that we liked aesthetically was a challenge. We ended up with the Stash Desk by Blue Dot. It's a very simple desk, but we thought it looked elegant, and it also had a small drawer, which is perfect to store our small tech items. We went with olive green for the color, and this was kind of a bold decision given that it's always in our face. However, we really like this color and plan to add accent decorations in this room in the same shade. We thought it would look great as an accent furniture piece. Given the omnipresence of white oak, we didn't want to go with a natural wood look as it would be too close. Overall, we are satisfied with our purchase. I think we will still like this color over the years, and it really looks as if it was made for this little nook. I do believe it's a bit expensive for what it is, however, as the mounting hardware and assembled sturdiness resembles what you get from IKEA, but this was a lot more expensive. At least, it's entirely made of solid wood and the top surface is quite thick for a premium look. And Mr. Fluffball is all about stuff looking premium. Given the relatively small surface this desk has, I wanted additional storage on the desk in the form of a desk shelf. An obvious choice would have been Grove made, but their shelves are not meant for such narrow desks, and thus I went with another option. This is the smallest variant they make that still has the sub-shelf under the main surface. I really wanted that extra shelf given the number of computers we have. The top is oak plywood, and I specifically went with it so that it matches with the slat panels, and then the legs are made of wood, painted white. This was a custom order as legs on the oak variants are usually black, but they had no problem accommodating my request. I went with white as most of my accessories for this desk are white as well, and I thought black would have been a bit too dark given the already quite dark desk color, even if black would better match Mr. Fluffball's fur. I completely love the result and couldn't be happier with how well it matches the accent walls and my desk accessories. I also love how the top shelf has beveled sides, similar to the top surface of the desk, making them complement each other even better. I will soon go over all the accessories on this desk and what they do, but first, I'll talk about the chair that's part of this setup. This is not an ergonomic chair, and here, looks were prioritized over function. This is the Radius chair by Goss Modern, and I was able to find it on Facebook Marketplace at an incredibly low price, even though it was in like new condition. It's not meant to be used for long periods, but that's perfect in our case, as this is a spot we only use in short bursts. This model is offered with wheels as well, but in this living room area, I think regular feet look a bit more stylish than casters. And that also happens to be Mr. Fluffball's opinion, as he has declared this chair his new throne. Overall, for the price we paid, we can't really complain. As with the other Goss Modern furniture we have, the quality is great. So now onto the desk itself, I added a Sonos One speaker in white that I already had on hand. This room already has a Sonos surround sound system with 4 ceiling speakers, a soundbar, and a subwoofer, but it's nice to have a smaller speaker when we don't want to fill the room with sound and just have something that's close by with less room echo. It is part of our multi-room audio setup as another room, but we can have all speakers in this room, including the surround sound system, play all together. The sound quality of Sonos Ones is incredible for their size, and here in white, I think it fits super well on this desk. Next to it is a Google Nest Hub. We mostly use it as a clock, but it's also pretty cool with our Nest doorbell to know who's at the door. At the moment, that's mostly what we use it for, but we do plan to expand its usage, mostly with smart home capabilities. Maybe a smart litter for Mr. Fluffball? I don't know. You may have noticed that the shelf is a bit empty between the Nest and Sonos One, and that's for when I want to use my iPad as a secondary monitor. It's the perfect spot for it to be at a better height ergonomically than directly on the desk, without another form of stand. This configuration is optimal given that this is a living room and having a dedicated external monitor that stays on the desk wouldn't look as great in my opinion. With this option, we still get the flexibility of an external monitor without the bulky look. Finally, following Mr. Fluffball's suggestion, I got this little succulent in a white pot as decoration, which adds a touch of nature. Next to the plant is a MagSafe charger from Anker, again continuing with the white theme. I really like this product as it charges my phone and acts as a stand while doing so. It also has a Qi charging pad at the bottom, which is perfect for charging Mr. Fluffball's AirPods. All of that, and it feels quite premium with the metal pole while still being relatively affordable compared to other similar products. It does require quite a bit of power, 18 watts in total for both charging pads, and I power it using Ugreen's 100 watt GAN charger. This charger has 3 USB-C outputs and 1 USB-A and can provide up to 100 watts across all 4 ports, so that's perfect for charging multiple devices at once, such as my M1 MacBook Pro, my iPad, iPhone, and the cat's AirPods. My unit seems to have one port that is flaky as it doesn't always charge, but the other 2 are solid, just something worth mentioning, and I do hope that's not a common problem as it would be a very nice charger otherwise. All of these charging devices are plugged in a power strip from Trond, which has holes in its plastic shell that are meant for screwing it in a surface. This is super useful for cable management, and I use the horizontal panel under the desk to do so. It's the second time I use a power strip from this brand, and I think they're pretty nice. By having it hidden from sight, it helps with cable management, and here I use plastic cable ties that I screwed in various parts of the desk to keep cables close to its underside so that they're harder to see from above. Apart from the cable that runs down the desk, very few cables can be seen. And this is where Mr. Fluffball and I weren't aligned as he does like dangling cables. But even there, I used green Velcro straps to better match with the color of the desk. I also added a smart plug with 2 outlets for the 2 wall lights that are part of this setup. And these wall lights are from Gantry. They're the Carve wall lights and they come in left and right configs. I decided to go with white to continue with the theme we've got going on with the desk. These produce a very diffused and warm light that's super high quality. They do have built-in dimmers, but I decided to hide them and turn them on and off using smart plugs instead for an even cleaner look. I think these would look better if the power cord wasn't visible, but that would require electrical work, so that's the next best thing. Alright, quite different than the usual, right? Mr. Fluff and I explored a completely different kind of desk setup here by designing something that had to look good enough to fit in a living room. In other words, a simple and elegant desk with a nice accent corner wall. I think we were able to pull off a setup that is well adapted for the usage it'll have, while keeping looks a priority and comfort too for the cat. Let me know down below what you think about it. I look forward to read your feedback on this new kind of desk setup. And if you have ideas on how to improve it, I'm all ears. Alright, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.